Heart to Heart podcast. Before Miami's tech boom, before the headlines, there were people building quietly. There were women taking risks. Today's guest is one of those women. Melissa Medina did not walk into a ready-made ecosystem. She helped build it, co-founding Emerge Americas at a time when people questioned why a tech company would even choose Miami. But this conversation is not just about tech. It's about taking risk before there is proof. It's about motherhood, divorce, rebuilding, and creating peace in a modern family. It's about what happens when chaos, whether in business or life, becomes fuel. This is a conversation about vision before validation. Let's get into it and welcome Melissa Medina. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Heart to Heart podcast. I'm Christy Diaz, and today I am with Melissa Medina, and we're going to talk about before Miami was on the map as a tech boom. Before we were the it place to be, there was pioneers leaving the foundation on the floor for what would become Miami's tech boom, as I like to say. And one of those women are here today, and her name is Melissa Medina. Hi there, Mel. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, Christy. Thank you. I'm really excited to chat with you today.
It's wonderful to have you here.
Too.
Not a lot of people know that you were laying the foundation for this Miami tech boom long before it was a trend.
Thank you. There were a lot of us kind of really championing Miami as a tech hub for a long time, and now seeing all the elements kind of coming together is really exciting. But there was a lot of people working hard, rolling up their sleeves for a long time.
And you were definitely one of those people, and you were silent about it, which you should not be. You deserve just as much credit as the next.
Thank you.
I am blown away by all the hats that you wear, and I don't know how you do it. So
A village. That's the truth. That's the secret.
it definitely takes a village. I want to go back and take me back to that before Miami was considered the tech hub that it's become. Miami is the newest tech boom of the day, I'd like to say. We're growing at such a rapid speed, but there was a time where that wasn't even a thought in anybody's head. You would think Silicon Valley and California. You'd think maybe New York. Boston. You knew it was Miami before it was Miami. So tell me more about that.
I think, there were a couple reasons why there were a lot of us that believed Miami could be a thriving tech hub. Most of the reason actually stemmed from a place of frustration.
Okay.
And that was having worked in a technology company that my father founded and built called Terramark Worldwide, which is an IT infrastructure, cloud computing company headquartered here in Miami, but it was global, right? It was very difficult at the time evangelizing Miami as a tech hub, understandably. So we would travel the world selling our products and services, and we were always asked, why are you headquartered in Miami? There is no tech in Miami. And that really built up a lot of frustration with us because we're from here. I have a very similar story to a lot of us that were born and raised here. And my parents are both Cuban, left communism for the American dream. And we not only, in my opinion, landed in the best country in the world, but we ended up here in Miami. And that's like in our DNA. And we didn't want to leave Miami. So that frustration coupled with passion for this community is truthfully what drove us to say, no, we want to share the narrative that we believe, which is that we can become a thriving tech hub. But to kind of answer your question, we weren't a thriving tech hub. So the frustration stemmed from data and facts. I mean, we didn't have this, boom of tech companies here. We didn't have all the investors here. So that took time to build. And that was sort of our job. We wanted to share the narrative and attract more talent, attract more companies. And that's really the idea of Emerge. That's why we launched Emerged.
Yes, and we're going to get all into that because you have a big week ahead of you.
Yes.
With a lot of people to say hello
12th edition
to.
of Emerge Americas this week.
Congratulations.
Thank
What a
you.
feat. Back when you would start traveling to conferences and people would ask you, why Miami? How would you sell our city to them?
When are we talking though? Because it depends the year.
Okay, let's talk
Like
2012, 2013.
oh wow, yeah, that was the beginning.
Yes.
So 2012 was when we incorporated Emerge Americas, and the idea was we're going to do everything we can to help foster a thriving tech ecosystem here. And there were multiple ideas under this like large, ambitious mission. The first one was to create a convening and to attract what we consider are the stakeholders that make up a thriving ecosystem. Who are those? Entrepreneurs, investors, global tech execs, government, academia, all under one roof. When we were pitching people to come to that first edition
Yeah.
of Emerge, we had so much pushback. Again, understandably, but why would you do that in Miami? So we had a lot of work to do.
Right.
What would we say? We would say, it's a favorable tax economy, which still to this day, it's a great place to live, work, play, and just kind of believe us that it's worth at least trying to, be part of this ecosystem. And it was almost like they had to believe in us before even realizing that there was this other backbone behind the tech ecosystem even then. A lot of convincing. Let's leave it there. A lot of convincing and a lot of pushback.
At what point did you enter a room and say, I'm headquartered in Miami? And there was that, oh my God, that's amazing. Not, are you crazy?
So it's funny. I would say our aha biggest year was actually 2019. So if we're talking pre-COVID now, right?
Yes.
2019, which we're now essentially 5 years into Emerge, because we opened our doors in May of 2014. It took us 2 years to build that first one, was our absolute best year. And I don't mean that just in numbers. I mean just how the narrative had begun changing, how, the data was also changing. And it was like this perfect storm of elements are kind of coming together, but still we weren't in the global media lens. There was still a lot of convincing to do, but definitely 2019 for us internally was, wow, things are really changing. Never, ever did we expect what happened in 2020.
Sure.
Which is a little bit ironic because 2020, of course, the global pandemic, no one wants to go through that again. That was the strangest time period, awful for, the world.
Sure.
I don't think we have even truly filtered what that global pandemic did to us, right? As not only as a nation, but worldwide. But there were silver linings for our state and specifically for South Florida and specifically in the tech ecosystem that are undeniable. There is a pre-COVID and a post-COVID sort of metrics for the tech ecosystem. So pre-COVID 2019, we felt really excited. 2020, everything crashes because of the pandemic. And then late 2020 into early 2021, there was just this frenzy almost of people moving to Florida, maybe temporarily, because it was open for business, because you could be outdoors, all because of the pandemic. And I think people really started realizing the beautiful life you can live here. And sort of like the secret was out, right? Like what you and I knew about living and working here, all of a sudden, so many more people realized it. And then it just created this snowball effect and Twitter X trend and virality that, I think catapulted us into this J-curve effect that even us, and I say us collectively, I don't mean just us Emerge, because there was a lot of organizations working to build the tech ecosystem here. I don't think any of us could have imagined or ever realized this type of momentum happening that fast because of COVID.
COVID just, I think, put the technological world at warp speed.
Yeah.
And I feel like people are still trying to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it did something really interesting, specifically in the tech world, that then permeated into all these other verticals, which is pre-COVID, most industries were not open to virtual meetings. We're not open to a hybrid model. We're not open to remote workers.
Right.
COVID changed that landscape completely.
Absolutely.
And now, not only in the tech world, so many more industries are now open to having a remote workforce and to allowing their employees to choose where they want to live. And that's always been sort of our motto, hasn't been it's Miami or bust. Like, you have to live in Miami, you have to live in South Florida. For us, it's always been we want Miami and South Florida to be in the conversation. We want entrepreneurs to have a choice beyond Silicon Valley, Boston, Austin, New York. If those are the cities for them, great. But I'm here to say that South Florida should absolutely be in that conversation and should be considered. That was like always our sort of train of thought, and now it is, which is great.
If you're looking for a dental experience rooted in comfort, trust, and caring for the whole person, not just the teeth, Nouveau Dental Arts is worth knowing about. Their approach to modern dentistry is thoughtful, welcoming, and deeply patient-centered. It's dentistry with heart, right here in Miami. Visit Dr. Adrian Gonzalez, a trusted partner of the Heartful Living community. Now, back to the conversation. Well, take us back to that moment where you booked the Miami Beach Convention Center before you had the proof, right? That's bold. What was going through your mind in that moment?
I have to credit my father for that, because he's always taught me and my brother to think big, to take risks. And we had no idea in that first edition how many people would come, if it would be successful or not, if we'd do it annually, if we'd ever do it again. But we thought big from the beginning, and we said, if this is going to be successful, one, we want the home base to be the same every year, because I think it creates like a stickiness to it. And we had this wild dream of filling the entire convention center at some point. So we said, if we're going to go for it, let's go for it. So we booked the convention center since 2014, and we've been there ever since. And every year it grows. And thankfully, is this wood, knock on wood, it paid off.
Your goal that initial year was 2,000 to 3,000 attendees, and you ended up with 5,000 attendees.
Yes, we basically doubled our expectation for that year one, which was huge for us. And we did realize then a few things. One, we were filling a void in the market, I think, more than we even realized, because at the time there was no tech convening anywhere near us. And then obviously seeing the numbers basically almost double from what we expected, even with all the pushback, we said, oh no, we're definitely doing this annually. That was, that was sort of the point of saying, this is going to be, not only are we going to do this annually, but we're going to grow the team. This is going to be a year-round effort. It helped us shape the model that we are today, which is, the conference is like one piece of what we do. But
Sure.
Yeah.
It's one pillar, as you once told me. But it's a major foundational pillar.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is sort of the physical representation of what we're doing year round. It's the one time a year that we have critical mass here in our community under tech, innovation, entrepreneurship, and we do a lot of marketing around it, of course. So it is what we're very much well known for. But important to note that we are a full team, year-round effort, accelerator programs, and we probably host another 30 or 40 convenings throughout the year also.
It's incredible.
But definitely the Global Tech Conference is the flagship event, let's say, of the year.
Melissa, can you fill the blank in for somebody who's listening to us for the first time and does not know what Emerge is? Emerge is...
Emerge Americas is an organization whose mission is to help create and, at this point now, sustain a thriving tech ecosystem in South Florida. How we do that is through a multi-pronged approach, including a global tech conference that's happening this week, at the Miami Beach Convention Center, where we bring together over 20,000 entrepreneurs, investors, global tech execs from around the world, interactive exhibit space, lots of stages, thought leaders for our attendees to be inspired by. And then we also host 3 different accelerator programs throughout the year, because our goal is for entrepreneurs to be able to scale. And one of the ways to do that is for us to create these programmatic efforts where we connect entrepreneurs with investors, with the tools to help their companies scale. And that is sort of very much the heart and soul of the work that we do. But our core remains very much the same. Anything we could possibly do to continue to grow the tech ecosystem here.
And how many people are we expecting this year?
I think we're going to cross over 22,000 this year.
So I should go with my walking shoes.
Yes. And you'll see if you track your steps throughout these next few days at the convention center, it's incredible how many miles you will walk in 2 days.
I am so excited. This is my first year attending, and I can't
Welcome
wait.
to the club.
I am so excited.
Yeah.
I want to know.
First of many.
First of many, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But you got to tell me, what can I not miss this year?
Mm-hmm. Well, you definitely do not want to miss the networking events.
Okay.
Okay. So Thursday night, April 23rd, coming up, we take over Lincoln Road and we host a block party there. And it's, of course, on an iconic, street in Miami Beach. It's also walking distance from the Miami Beach Convention Center. Any pass holder for Emerge, so any type of pass holder, can enjoy this networking event. And live music. It's a great way to showcase our city, but at the same time, network, create business connections in, an iconic part of the city. So that's one. So the networking events for sure. Depending on, your interests, because there are a lot of verticals that we focus on at Emerge. There's fintech, there's health tech, there's national security, so anything around dual use and defense technology. And the fourth one I have a feeling you'll probably be very interested in, which is deep tech, anything that has to do with AI. So I think you're going to want to stick around to that deep tech AI stage and learn a lot about the different AI platforms that are revolutionizing across multiple verticals. I have a feeling you're going to like that, Christy.
I have a feeling that that's where I'm going to be the whole time.
Yes, I know where to find you.
Yeah, you'll know where to find me. If I get lost, I'm going to have to ping you. Mm-hmm. But I'm so excited to attend everything and just get a feel for what it is to be at Emerge, and also at the same time meet so many people from all over the world, because we're not just locals attending this event.
No. We host it here, but it's a global event. And we have over 60 countries that are represented amongst our attendees. So it's definitely a global platform. And I think that's one of the benefits of being there and attending, is that over a couple days, you're going to meet people from around the world. And for companies that exhibit and attend, they find that as one of the benefits as well, because you don't have to hop across all these different countries to meet people. We're literally bringing everyone together under one roof. So that's definitely one of the advantages for sure.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm going with my husband. I'll be reporting live from Emerge, and it's going to be a great time. I'm really looking forward to it. Please tell me you go on vacation at the end of it.
That's such a good question. So believe it or not, the week after, for us as a team, it's very important for us to get together and debrief when we have everything top of mind.
Right.
And of course, at the end of the day, it is a live event. And so there are a lot of moving pieces, and each of us as a team are kind of tracking, were there some challenges? What were the highs, etc. So we get together as a team that following week, even though everyone almost cannot move, but we make it very, very casual. We all get together. It's important to get together when everything is top of mind.
Sure.
But yes, the following week, the entire team is fully off and can, either just stay in bed all day or go on vacation and kind of recoup, because it's not only the physical aspect of it, but there's a lot of emotion that goes into building something like this, the logistics behind it. I have, thankfully, an incredible team. Everyone puts 150% into it. and there's anxiety involved, all of it. And then all of a sudden, you need to take some time to recover both physically and emotionally. And we're super aware of that.
If someone's getting excited just by hearing our conversation right now, is there still a possibility for them to attend?
Yes, absolutely. You can go online and purchase passes, emergeamericas.com. And you can also purchase a day pass for the second day of also.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I want you to jump back to the AI, which is probably where I'm going to be spending the most amount of my time. Because
It's a hot topic.
and I think it's top of mind for everybody right now.
And if it isn't, here's my,
Please.
if it's
From
not,
the horse's mouth.
if it is not top of mind, it needs to be.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how big or small your company is, doesn't matter what industry you're in. This is as big, if not bigger, than when we were introduced to the internet. That's how transformational AI is. And so if you're not thinking about it, here's my commercial. Think about it now.
Okay.
Get on top of it. Look at the platforms, study them. Which ones could affect your business? How can you streamline different processes? How can you make things more efficient? Because if you're not thinking about it, your competitors are.
Absolutely.
That's just the truth.
What are your thoughts as a mom with AI in the schools?
Yeah. So I have 5 kids, and I'm well aware of the challenges that technology bring. For example, social media, etc. I have the positive and the negatives. So I'm not just the cheerleader for technology, but they also aren't going away. So in my opinion, to not expose your children to it at all is not my methodology, because at some point they are going to be exposed to it.
Sure.
So talking to them about it, being very transparent and honest of these are the to-dos, these are the not to-dos.
Sure.
Are important. So a lot of conversation. How I feel about AI is that schools are already using AI in many, not only universities, but prep schools, elementary schools. Teachers are realizing that there is efficiencies using AI. Now, do I understand the pushback around AI is, writing everything, for example, for my child? Yes, I think there has to be some sort of balance. I have English teachers in my kids' school that have told me they're teaching students how to prompt,
Right.
what to prompt, but at the same time, when it comes to writing the essays or typing them out, they are having them do it all in class so that they don't have that pressure to just put it into ChatGPT or any of the other AI platforms.
Absolutely.
It's a difficult balance right now, but the conversations need to be had. And I think the schools who have, their presidents, their headmasters, head of schools, whatever the title may be, that are learning about this and thinking about the best way to, implement AI into their systems are ahead of the game. Again, because AI is not going away.
No. You're going to have to embrace it one way or another, but you still need to know how to think for yourself. I think the critical thinking in the school system is key.
Absolutely. Writing, the writing skills. And yes, I'm the first one to say it's going to get more difficult.
Sure.
Because it does a lot of the thinking for you.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, do you use it at all for prompting or typing emails?
All the time.
Of course, me too. And it
Spell check.
saves time.
Grammar check.
Yes.
Yeah.
You prompted a couple bullet points and it spits out this beautifully written,
Exactly.
a couple paragraphs, and then you make it your own.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important part too, where our kids have to realize that it's not just copy and paste. It's
Right.
not always right.
Correct.
You have to check what's the information that's given to you. You want your own voice in there too. But it is a whole new skill that we did not have growing up. And so even as adults, we need to learn how to use it properly.
Hey, my friends, it's Christy from Heartful Living. I wanted to share something special for my friend, the olive oil hunter, TJ Robinson. He runs the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club, where members receive small batch, rare olive oils flown in fresh from award winning family farms around the world. Oils you simply can't buy in stores. To welcome you, he's offering a $39 bottle for just $1 shipping. To receive this offer today, please go to my website, heartfulliving.com, and sign up. It's a taste of what the club is all about and the perfect way to bring intentional, heartful living right to your table. So there has to be a big difference in AI, I assume, when you're using it for personal consumption as opposed to a business or a company. Which apps are the ones that business owners should be thinking about using instead of just Gemini, ChatGPT,
Yeah.
and the ones that we all have just skimmed through now?
Well, there's so many, Christy, and it's really going to be dependent on your company, on the vertical. So I don't want to, you know, give too many plugs for different platforms because it's really going to be dependent. But what I can say is the ones you mentioned, for example, ChatGPT, right, OpenAI, there are professional layers to those that I think a lot of people are underutilizing. So you can pay subscription wise a very nominal amount every month, and your entire team now is working off the same hymn sheet as opposed to, let's say we work in the same company, Christy is using OpenAI or ChatGPT both for work and personal reasons, and it's only tracking your stuff. And then I'm using it, Melissa's using it also, but we're not connected. So there is a professional subscription, and now Christy and Melissa, our information is actually being aggregated on how it's being used professionally, right? Under, let's say you worked for Emerge, under the Emerge umbrella, which is really cool. So our company has that. And all of our team
That's fascinating.
works off of this professional subscription. And now it starts thinking as Emerge Americas, how every single one of our team members is using it, how every single one of our team members, how it's prompting, the language we're using.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and it's pretty simple. This is not, there's a lot more layers to this. But even something as simple as that, a lot of teams are not leveraging or taking advantage of. And people are using it anyways, is the thing.
Sure. So, what happens to a company that ignores AI in today's world?
I don't think they're going to be around that long. That's just the truth. Because like I said earlier, your competitors are looking at AI. And this is not to say, you have to use AI across all of your processes at work. But you really do need to assess where AI can give you a competitive advantage, where AI can make your processes more efficient. And I think if you're not looking at that, and I mean any business,
Sure.
I do think like red flag. You need to start looking at it. And again, I'm not saying change all your processes and immediately, convert everything to an AI model, but any company, any size, from a startup to a Fortune 500, et cetera, needs to look at the different AI platforms and how they can work in their company.
Sure. And what responsibility do tech leaders have in shaping the ethical innovation?
I think a lot. And I don't think it's talked about enough. That's why I said earlier, too, that I think about it as a mom, right? With my kids, I can't just be a tech cheerleader, right? There has to be the ethical conversations behind it, the challenges that they pose as well. And I think that's the neat part about the conference that you'll experience this week, Christy, because we don't shy away from having those difficult conversations also, because we're a platform. We're bringing all these decision makers together, and we want to have these difficult conversations. And it can't just be, AI is going to change the world positively in every aspect. No, we need to say, what are the ethical implications here? What are the challenges? People talk about the deep fakes and how AI can quite literally take our voice from this podcast. And now all of a sudden, Mel and Christy are talking about something else that we didn't talk about here.
Right.
How do we decipher what's real and what's not? those are all real challenges
Right.
that I am sure that there are going to be fixes for, because I'm very much the glass is half full. And usually challenges breed a lot more opportunity. And so you're going to see a lot of founders and companies kind of bubbling up addressing these challenges. But we need to talk about them.
Yeah. And that's part of Heartful Living's mission, which is opening the door to these difficult conversations and sharing them, because if we don't open the door and let that conversation in, we're just going to continue, as we say in Spanish, tapando el sol con el dedo,
Exacto.
covering it up, because eventually the sun's
Yeah.
going to come up and
Absolutely.
we're going to have to discuss it. So I'm so glad that the conference has
Yeah.
those conversations coming.
Totally not shy about having the hard conversations, and we should.
Yeah. And speaking of shy conversations, you are a mother of 5, and you have a
Yes.
big, beautiful, modern blended family.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank you.
one of the things that people have come up to me to say is, you need to have Melissa Medina come and explain to us how she makes it work with her modern family. It's something that I
love
think
discussion.
you have just nailed. It appears like you guys have nailed it. You're doing it right. The heart and the intention is there.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Heart to Heart podcast with Christy Diaz for Heartful Living, where stories, connection, and intention guide everything we do. Interested in partnering with us? We're always open to collaborations that align with intention, creativity, and community. If you feel your brand is a match, we'd love to connect and explore what we can create together. And now back to listening. Can you share with those who don't know you what it is I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course. And so funny, Christy, because I get asked this a lot in private all the time. It's probably the topic that I am, like, my DMs, people I don't know ask me about the most, which is crazy, right? But it's something that publicly I don't think anyone's really ever asked me about. So I am a little shy about it, but I'm thankful that you asked the question. So yeah, for those that don't know me, I was married, so I'm divorced, remarried. I have 5 kids, 4 of whom I had with my first husband, and then remarried and had a little girl with my current husband. My ex-husband also got remarried and has a little girl. So altogether, it's 6 of them. I gave birth to 5. And then my ex-husband and his wife had a little girl who is adorable and we adore. And I think the reason that people reach out all the time is because they can't believe that we kind of work so well together. And for us, and I say us collectively because I think everyone has to be on the same page, which is my husband, my ex-husband, his wife, we all put the kids first. Like, it's just an abundance of love for these children. I mean, my daughter with my husband and my ex-husband's daughter, literally love each other like sisters. And, even for, my 5, there's no, this is my half sibling, like, these are your siblings. And I give credit really to all the adults in this
Absolutely.
sort of puzzle and equation, because we put them first. Is the reason I don't talk about it that much either is because it's not as if any of us are advocates for divorce,
Sure.
and I think that's kind of the fine line, when you're expressing like, hey, we made it work, and I love and adore our family so much. The modern blend, all of it, I think as a husband or wife going through a divorce, one of your biggest fears is who your partner or your former partner might end up with. How will they be with your children?
Right.
And I just feel so fortunate, my ex-husband's wife is beautiful inside and out, loves my children. I adore her daughter. It's just, I feel very lucky for the people that are involved. But at the same time, again, we're not advocating divorce. It's just an unfortunate part of our
Story.
story and reality is that, and I don't know if the data still remains, but pretty sure that over 50% of marriages end in divorce. And it's sad. Nobody gets married, at least not in our, in our scenario, we didn't get married to get divorced.
Right.
I don't think anyone sets out to get divorced. So that's our story. How we do it is just a lot of extra love, open door policies. We're, we're doing everything we can to make sure we're putting our kids first.
And I'm sure it hasn't always been easy,
No,
I'm sure it takes a lot of work.
absolutely. It takes a lot of work. Time obviously is always on your side, right? The more time that passes, the easier it gets. And, I think fortunate for us, we each found an amazing partner in life, and I acknowledge that,
Right.
and we're happy for each other,
Yeah.
and you think it's just like simple, we're happy for each other. Our kids now have extra layer of love.
Right.
And I think it's also important to acknowledge like the extended family, because the acceptance that my in-laws, of 4 kids all of a sudden coming into the family,
Absolutely.
and on the other side as well. And I think we were just very fortunate that everyone really kind of supported us. And
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's my hope and my wish for every divorcee with children
yeah,
to come to a place of harmony like you guys have found.
thank you. Yeah.
What would you say to the woman who's in the thick of the divorce and just can't see that possibility of peace right now?
I feel for you. I think it's a very, very difficult time. Feels hopeless, I'm sure, at times, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If they have children, I would say that's the focus, right? It's easy to allow a lot of noise into your mind and have you either upset or kind of digress into a place of animosity, or, this is not the way you anticipated things to happen.
Sure.
And I know it's easier said than done, but time really does heal a lot.
Yeah. How does motherhood change the way you lead your business today with that troop?
Yeah, so much. I think motherhood or parenthood changes the way you think about everything in life, right? There's a before and after motherhood. What am I focusing my time on? What am I building? Is it worth it? Is it impactful? How is it affecting them potentially?
Right.
So many questions go into my mind as I'm building an organization and a company. I involve them as much as I can as well, so they hopefully understand, what their mom is working on, and their opinions mean a lot to me. So I actually ask them a lot of questions like, who do you want to see? Who would inspire you? And what kind of topics do you want to hear? And, my oldest is already a freshman in college. He's 18 years old.
Don't tell people that.
Yes. So, what are the emerging technologies he wants to learn
better
about?
than him, right?
Of course. They know a lot more than we do.
Yeah,
I promise.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. What fuels you more, vision, challenge, or impact?
Challenge, probably.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
When you doubt yourself, what brings you back to center?
For sure, my children.
Right.
Yeah, it's perspective. There are a lot of things that get into my mind that could distract me or get me overwhelmed. And then I think about, really, Melissa, you're driving yourself crazy over
Right.
XYZ issue when, here you have healthy, amazing family, children, etc. So that's kind of my why that brings me back. But it's easy, I think, in the rat race of personal and professional life, like getting distracted is really easy. I'm sure
Especially
you
in
agree.
today's world.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. So if chaos is inevitable in both life and business, Melissa, what have you learned about what comes after it?
I'm still in the chaos.
You're still in the chaos. I like that.
I'm
Keeps
still,
you challenged,
I'm still
as you
in the
said.
chaos. Yeah, definitely. Chaos is my middle name.
Finish this sentence as we close, Melissa.
Okay.
The future belongs to.
The next generation. That's it. The future belongs to the next gen. And again, whether it's your children, or our children's children, thinking about the next generation is something that is top of mind for me every day.
Melissa, I can't think of a better way to close than with that statement you
Aw,
just made.
thanks,
I am
Christy.
so
So
excited
fun.
for this week.
Yes, I'll
I'm
see you
really
there.
looking forward to it.
Wear sneakers, I'm telling you.
Will it look bad with what I'm wearing right now?
No, absolutely not.
If you're listening and you're interested in attending,
wear sneakers.
wear sneakers, buy your ticket at
emergeamericas.com.
Okay, we look forward to
I'll
it.
see you there. Yay.
Melissa Medina, thank you so much for
Christy,
taking
thank you for
time.
the opportunity. It was so fun.
I know how busy you are this week.
No, not for this.
Thank you for being here.
This is an awesome opportunity. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right.
That is all the time we have for everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Bye.
Bye.